Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Jim McCauley coming with another video. Today, some more VGC 17 battles on the battle spot using this Drift Blim Tapu Lele team that I've been using for the past few weeks. We are nearing the end of this team. I don't know how many more battles or uploads there's going to be. I think there's this one, and then one more, or a few of my international challenge battles. I don't know how many uploads or how many total battles there'll be, but after that, that should be the end, and it should be on to a new team. So it's been a lot of fun. It's been really interesting. It's been a challenge as well, just because there's not as much protect on this team as usual. I mean, you look right here, Driftblim, Tapu Lele, and Pheromosa don't have protect. So, I mean, it's half the team. But it was something I wanted to try. So it's been fun. Been a lot of interesting teams that we've gone up against as well. So we'll get into the first one. My opponent had a team of Incineroar, Metagross, Tapu Bulu, Buzzwole, Porygon 2, and Tapu Lele. So he did have the dual Tapus, and then what was interesting is the Incineroar. I have no idea why I saw so many of these in the International Challenge, and I've seen so many of these on the battle spot. I have no idea why all of a sudden Incineroar has become so popular. It's not really that good, but it is. I've seen it everywhere. So I have pretty good ways of dealing with it. My Gyarados has Intimidate. It's got Waterfall. Garchomp's got Ground type moves and everything. So I'm just gonna go with my typical lead, and my opponent, and then for his Tapus, I got my Pheromosa with Poison Jab, and then for his Incineroar, it's not really going to be that big of a deal anyways, but for Incineroar, I'll also have High Jump Kick, and then for Porygon 2, High Jump Kick, and then I bring Garchomp here. The Buzzwole gives my team a little bit of problems. My Lele is pretty much the only decent way of dealing with it was if I'd burn it with Drifblim, but other than that, it can cause a bit of problems. So Garchomp, a decent pickup here. It's a little bit bulky, and I just feel like that the Z move can help me get off a lot of damage against his Buzzwole and against all of his Pokemon, really, even against that Incineroar, against that Metagross. So speaking of Incineroar and Metagross, that's what he ends up leading, and I get out my Drifblim Lele. And here I was like, ooh, buddy, if only I could get an Earthquake off, I'd deal some serious damage here. So I'm in a pretty good. He does have super effective stab for each of my Pokemon. I would try Lele here straight up for Garchomp. I'm expecting a Meteor Mash into that slot, and I want to keep my Lele around, so as you can see, there's a possibility of that Buzzwole. And Metagross protects, so I'm like, okay, well, that's perfect. And I get up the Tailwind, and we see Darkest Lariat, which is no surprise. But I was like, I wonder if he's going to go into Garchomp or Drifblim. And sure enough, it is into the Drifblim slot, and that knocks me out. So from what I've been seeing, I don't know, or it depends on how it's EV'd, because I've been surviving with like 25% HP on some of them. Like that one right there, just flat out knocked me out. So it's like a roll with that. So he switches out he's going to pull a double switch right here. So we're going to see his complete team. It's going to be Buzzwole and Tapu Bulu. So a good switch, just because in Earthquake, both of his Pokemon are going to resist it. Plus, it's going to be in the grassy terrain, which is going to reduce the damage by 50%. So I went for the High Jump Kick into the Metagross slot and a Swords Dance. I was predicting the Incineroar to protect, and since the Metagross just protected, it was going to be pretty safe. So a big Swords Dance getting off, but it's still not that big of a deal since I can't really threaten either of these Pokemon that much with Garchomp. So right here, I'm going to get off a Poison Jab into the Tapu Bulu, and I was really, really, really surprised at the damage. So that Kebia Berry coming in huge. That's the first time I've ever seen that. And what also surprised me here was this Buzzwole surviving the Dragon Claw. I was really, really surprised about that as well. So, and then afterwards I looked up, and Buzzwole's defense is massive. So maybe I should have gone, well, if I mean, I had no idea this Boo was gonna have Kebia Berry, but you're gonna see my Garchomp's gonna survive the all-out pummeling, which is huge. But and he does go for Hornwich into Pheromosa, so since I do resist, I am gonna survive, and he's gonna heal up a little bit. But one more Poison Jab will definitely do the trick. So a big turn, some big survives there. The Kebia Berry from Bulu, the Buzzwole surviving a +2 Dragon Claw. So I'm still in a good spot, just because I do have Tailwind, and I can threaten a double knockout here. So he's going to switch out Bulu into Metagross, which is a good play. It's going to be immune to the Poison Jab, and he's going to protect Buzzwole. Trying to stall out that Trick Room. So good switch, and then the obvious Dragon Claw. So, I mean, perfect turn for him. It's just that was a complete stall of a turn of Tailwind and some HP recovery all around. So here I have to kind of decide what I want to do. Tailwind leaves, but none of his Pokemon should be faster than mine. Except I didn't consider Bullet Punch here, and I was like, oh no, that is not what I wanted at all. Because I have Ice Beam on my Pheromosa, and that could have easily taken out this Buzzwole. So I was like, well, I don't want to knock out my own Pheromosa, so I'll just go for a Tectonic Rage into the Metagross. So Bullet Punch was pretty big there. I don't know. I guess what I could have done was, if I predicted it, I could have switched Garchomp into my Tapu Lele, which would resist both stabs from Buzzwole, and especially fighting, I'd quad resist, and I'd be able to take that easily with Tapu Lele, and then Pheromosa would easily be able to survive. And then I'd get the Psychic Terrain up, and then he'd no longer be able to Bolt Punch. So that's just something I wasn't expecting. I was expecting him, like, most of them these days will run like Meteor Mash, Zen Headbutt, Earthquake, and Protect. And even if it's a fourth move, it'll be something like some sort of tech move. So pretty big there. A big knockout on my +2 Garchomp. Then this Buzzwole's still going to be a pretty big problem. So I was actually surprised that his Bulu... I was surprised his Bulu undersped mine because I EV'd my Lele to be really slow. So just so I'd be able to set up the terrain second. So since I have no terrain, I just go for the Dazzling Gleam. And that's going to do about 50% of Bulu's remaining health. And then he's going to go for the Wood Hammer, and I'm going to barely survive again. So just some clutch moments of being able to hang on in this battle across the board. So it's still not over. There's still... So going for... So he's going to withdraw the Buzzwole into the Incineroar. So depending on speed and everything, if this does over 50%, I can still end up winning. But it doesn't. That Incineroar, incredibly bulky. So I don't know if it was Assault Vest or if it's just naturally bulky or what. But I feel like he didn't necessarily need to switch out there. Because if I crit the Incineroar, if I did over 50%, and then this next turn I could just go for another Dazzling Gleam and I'd pick up a double knockout. So I feel like that was a risky play on his part. But he does have Fake Out, so that's going to be enough to pick up the knockout. And that's going to be game. So that Buzzwole putting in work. I guess I should have seen the Z-move Buzzwole from a mile away. Because if I protected the turn that he went for... Well, I should say, I was expecting my Dragon Claw to pick up the knockout. That was the very first thing. I didn't realize how... It's like base 110 defense or whatever, which is massive. So I didn't expect that to begin with. And then if I did expect it, or if I didn't expect Dragon Claw to kill, I could have gone for a Protect and completely mitigated that damage from the all-out pummeling. And even later from that Metagross, if I thought, or if I even considered the possibility of that, I could have just switched in my Tapu Lele for Garchomp, and then Bullet Punch would have done nothing, and then I would have picked up the knockout, and that would have been game. That would have sealed the deal. So well played with my opponent. He had some pretty good moves there. So I definitely could have played a little bit better. My Driftbomb going down turn 1 was pretty big. So, I mean, I guess it could have been like a full offense Assault Vest Incineroar, because it took very little damage from that Dazzling Gleam, and then it one-shotted my Drifblim, which I've seen survive with like 25% from Darkest Lariat from Incineroar. So, we'll play with my opponent. He had a pretty good team, so we're going to move on to our second match, which is going to feature a Dhelmise, Tapu Koko, Vikavolt, Garchomp, Pelipper, and Araquanid. So he's got a pretty slow team. Araquanid very slow, Vikavolt slow, Dhelmise is slow. But he's also got some fast Pokemon, Tapu Koko and Garchomp. And then Pelipper also has the ability to set up Tailwind, which can make his slower Pokemon a bit faster. So Dhelmise can, with Anchor Shot, because it pretty much has 3 stabs, because Anchor Shot increases its Steel type moves by 50%. So that could be a problem. So here I decided to bring my Magnezone to deal with Araquanid, and also help out with his Pelipper, and then also take advantage of the terrain from Tapu Koko. So I decided not to bring Gyarados or Garchomp, just because Gyarados will get wrecked pretty easily. Even though he does have a rain possibility, it'll get wrecked too easily by his 2 electric type Pokemon. And Garchomp doesn't really have a good matchup. I mean, he does have 2 electric type Pokemon, but not really a very good matchup. So Pheromosa is going to be good here. Be able to help deal with that Garchomp with Ice Beam, Tapu Koko, like always. So I don't have the best matchup here, but I still feel like my opponent doesn't have the best matchup against me either. So he's going to be Dhelmise, Tapu Koko. And I lead Lele Drifblim, no reason not to. So this Dhelmise can be a really, really, really big problem offensively. But I also know that Dhelmise is really slow. So, and I know that outside of Electric Terrain, Thunderbolt does not KO my Drifblim after the Psychic Seed boost. So here, instead of setting up the Tailwind, I want to keep my Tapu Lele around. So I go for the Shadow Ball, and then here he goes for the Thunderbolt, which leaves me with 8 HP, which is fine. That's what I was EV'd to do. And I go for Psychic into Dhelmise, just to pick up the knockout, because I didn't want to lose my Tapu Lele here, because he could have gone for like a Shadow Claw, he could have gone for an Anchor Shot. So I just pick up the free knockout there, and this turn I'm free to set up the Tailwind, but I want to conserve my Lele. So, I mean, this is a risky switch to send in Magnezone here, but seeing what he has, I was like, he probably doesn't have Pelipper or Araquanid in the back, so I want to keep I'll send in my Magnezone because it's not going to be as useful as I thought it would be. So he goes for Dazzling Gleam, picks up the knockout, and breaks my Sturdy. And here we see the Tectonic Rage. I was like, wow. I guess Earthquake might have been, or wouldn't have been good since he does have his own Tapu Koko. But, so it's going to be a double knockout for him, but I'm okay with that because in the back I have Pheromosa and Tapu Lele. And then I have the terrain advantage, and then I'm gonna have the speed advantage as well because Tailwind's up. So I bring in Pheromosa Lele here. There's nothing he can do. Since he's not gonna outspeed me, I'm gonna threaten KOs on both of his Pokemon. So pretty good for me. I was glad that my Magnezone was able to take that Tectonic Rage, because I definitely did not want my Lele to take that. So he's gonna protect Tapu Koko here, and I went for Poison Jab just to get that super effective damage off, and also a Moonblast. I was like, I didn't know if I wanted to do Psychic or Moonblast, which one I wanted to lock myself into, but he didn't have anything that would resist Moonblast, so I was like, I'll just play it safe with Moonblast. I don't know if Psychic will pick up the knockout. I'm just going to play it safe. We see his last one is Vikavolt, so if I can, I'm going to prioritize taking out this Tapu Koko. So Poison Jab does the trick, and this one's just been pretty much a speed fest. So I have Pheromosa with my Focus Sash intact, and then Specs Lele. And since Vikavolt usually doesn't carry any spread moves, I'm feeling real good about my position here. And then we see a berry. I'm like, don't tell me it's the 50% berry. Sure enough, it is. People really love their 50% berries these days. So we see Bug Buzz, which doesn't even do half to my Lele. And that's going to be it. My opponent's going to go ahead and forfeit right there. So a very, very quick one. My opponent had a pretty good lead. I mean, he knew what I was leading. That's why he led with what he led. But I wasn't expecting me to target down his Delmise. So, I mean, even turn 1, I could have gone for like a Tailwind Psychic into the Tapu Koko to pick up the knockout there. But if I did, I wouldn't have had a good way of taking out his Delmise. Because even Shadow Ball wouldn't have done that much. So, I'm glad I did what I did. Sometimes you can, because people will get into the zone of like, oh, Lele Drifblim, you probably protect from Lele, and then Tailwind from Drifblim, or oh, Drifblim's going to go for Tailwind, and then it's going to be Lele Drifblim, so what can I do? What can I lead to get super effective stab against both those Pokemon? So playing it a little bit different can really catch your opponent off guard. And even if he protected his Delmise, which would have been an incredible read on his part, I still wouldn't have lost anything because I could have set up Tailwind the following turn and even gone for a Psychic into Delmise or Tapu Koko, or picked up the guaranteed knockout in the Tapu Koko, or maybe even picked up a knockout in the Delmise, depending on how it was trained. I don't know the role for that. But so first one, my opponent pretty much outplayed me here. I'd say pretty much outplayed my opponent. Him just predicting that I'm going to do the usual thing. So you got to switch it up every once in a while. Gain an advantage on these noobs. So quick second battle. Pretty quick battles in general, I'd say. So I feel like I'm starting to get the hang of this team. So starting to do a lot better because this is just a very fast-paced team. So that's going to be it for the video. Looks like I'll have 2 more videos with this team from some of my battles in the online competition, and then on to a new team. So keep your eyes peeled for those videos and then the new team. Pretty excited for it. So if you got any suggestions for me for a new team, let me know. If you want to battle me, go ahead and also let me know. But that's going to be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.